right, good afternoon. My name is Judge David Hames, and I wanted to welcome you all here to the Circuit Court of the 21st Judicial Circuit in and for Spring County, Florida. This is the Criminal Division. Calling the case of State of Florida versus Riley Butler, case number 19-0011-8. Can I get appearances? First on behalf of the state.
Good morning, Your Honor, opposing counsel, and members of the jury. I am Assistant State Attorney Spencer Swickel and will be conducting the direct examination of Campbell Ramsey and the cross-examination of Jackie Thompson.
Good morning. I'm Assistant State Attorney Jake Say. I will be delivering the opening statement and conducting the direct examination of Dr. Charlie Kimball and the cross-examination of the defendant.
Good morning. I am Assistant State Attorney Kennedy Hack-Juman, and I will be conducting the direct examination of Jules Simpson, the cross-examination of Dr. Dakota Reese, and delivering the closing argument.
Your Honor, permission to allow our witnesses to introduce themselves.
Permission granted.
Hello, my name is Dr. Charlie Kimball.
Good morning, I'm Campbell Ramsey. Good morning, I'm Jules Simpson.
All right, can I get appearances for the offense?
Good morning, Your Honor, opposing counsel, and members of the jury. I'm Jamie Canalejo, and along with my co-counsel, we proudly represent Riley Butler. Today, I will be conducting the direct examination of Dr. Dakota Reese and the cross-examination of Dr. Charlie Kimball.
Good morning. My name is Brody Kaplan. I will be delivering the opening statement, conducting the direct examination of Jackie Thompson and the cross-examination of Campbell Ramsey.
Good morning. My name is Madeline Rice, and I will be conducting the direct examination of Riley Butler, the cross-examination of Jules Simpson, and I will be delivering the closing argument.
Permission to allow our witnesses to introduce themselves?
Permission is granted.
Good morning, my name is Riley Butler.
Good morning, my name is Dr. Dakota Reese.
Good morning. My name is Jackie Thompson.
All right, everyone can be seated. All right, before we get started, are there any housekeeping matters?
Yes, Your Honor. The state of Florida has prepared a case packet for ease of reference for Your Honor, opposing counsel, and members of the jury. May we approach?
Yes, you may. Thank you.
Welcome.
Any additional housekeeping matters?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, we are ready to proceed. Before we begin, I'm going to just mention that all witnesses are presumed to be sworn. All right, we'll go ahead and start with opening statements on behalf of the state.
Words can heal, and words can hurt. Pictures can bring back memories, or they can cause nightmares. Believe me, nobody knows this better than the victim in this case, Jules Simpson. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today the state of Florida will prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that the lyrics written and pictures posted without Jules Simpson's consent by the defendant in this case, Riley Butler, were willful and malicious threats directed towards Simpson in order to try to cause her substantial emotional distress. How will we prove this? We will present evidence. What the evidence will show is that the defendant and Jules Simpson were long best friends. The defendant was an introvert with few friends and focused on his music. Jules Simpson, on the other hand, was popular, involved in multiple school activities, and liked by everybody. Unfortunately, as Riley Butler spent more time on his music and Jules Simpson spent more time on her activities, the two eventually started to grow apart. Jules Simpson tried to include the defendant in her new friend circle and even invited him to parties. However, the friendship fell apart eventually, as some friendships do. Back when they were still friends, they both went to a party at Campbell Ramsey's house. Now, keep in mind that the defendant and Campbell Ramsey were not actually strangers to each other. They'd both been involved on a fight in the soccer field in which the defendant punched Ramsey in the face. However, Ramsey let bygones be bygones, and on March 3rd, 2018, Jules Simpson took the defendant to a party at Ramsey's house. At the party, everyone seemed to be having a good time, except for the defendant, who just stayed on the side not talking to anyone. After the party, they all headed to their rival school's campus, Hurricane High School, to take pictures with their mascot, Wally the Gator. Jules Simpson had her picture taken by the defendant. Afterwards, the defendant went home early and Jules Simpson got a ride back with her friend Campbell Ramsey. The next day, the police came to Park City High School to investigate the vandalism of Wally the Gator. Every single member of the soccer team was interviewed. However, no charges were filed because there was no evidence. Unfortunately, talking to the police for the first time in her life had shaken Jules Simpson up. She immediately called her friend, the defendant, and asked him not to post the pictures from the night before, as they were taken solely for their own enjoyment and only as a joke. She expected that her privacy would be respected and never consented to anyone posting those photos on their MyFace page. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is why we are here today. The evidence will show that as the relationship between Jules Simpson and the defendant got worse, the defendant's anger and resentment increased. The evidence will show that Jules Simpson was repeatedly advised by many of her friends to stay away from the defendant, a warning that she wished she didn't ignore. Jules Simpson, the once happy, proactive girl, was now a depressed and anxious one. Almost 1 year after the vandalism of Wally the Gator, the defendant posted the pictures online. This triggered the reopening of the investigation into the vandalism of Wally the Gator. Jules Simpson was pulled out of her classrooms and only she was investigated. She was kicked off of the student government and put on probation for the soccer team. Her college applications may have been affected. The state of Florida has charged the defendant with 2 counts. The first is stalking by cyberstalking, meaning that the defendant willfully, maliciously, and repeatedly engaged in cyberstalking, publishing communications that established a threat towards the victim. And the second count is photo cyber harassment, which means that the defendant posted a compromising image of Jules Simpson online for no legitimate purpose other than causing her substantial emotional distress. Because the state of Florida has charged these crimes, it is our responsibility to prove them beyond a reasonable doubt. You will hear testimony from the victim, Jules Simpson, Campbell Ramsey, her friend, and licensed school psychologist, Dr. Charlie Kimball. We will also move into evidence these posts and the lyrics. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, words can heal and words can hurt. Pictures can bring back memories or they can cause nightmares. The evidence will show that the defendant wrote these lyrics and posted those photos as a direct threat towards Simpson in order to cause her substantial emotional distress. Once you have considered all of the evidence, ladies and gentlemen, I am confident that you will find the defendant guilty of both counts that we have charged. Thank you.
Opening statements on behalf of the defense.
Ben Franklin said that freedom of speech is a principal pillar of a free government. But members of the jury, our freedom of speech means nothing at all if it doesn't give us the right to offend. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the evidence will show that Riley Butler, a high school senior, is here today accused of 2 criminal offenses for exercising his freedom of speech. He is accused of cyberstalking and photo cyberstalking. The evidence will show that Riley Butler and Jules Simpson used to be best friends. They were inseparable from the first day of high school when they met until their junior year. The evidence will show that Riley Butler and Jules Simpson both loved playing on the school soccer team and discussing Riley's other passions, music and songwriting. The evidence will show that Riley's father committed suicide when Riley was younger. Riley struggled trying to understand why his father would choose to leave him. He expressed these feelings with his best friend Jules and explained how music, especially writing original songs inspired by the Beatles, helped him deal with his grief because his father was a huge Beatles fan. Jules encouraged Riley to continue to write music and suggested that Riley post his songs on the social media site MyFace in order to get more exposure for his music. However, like many high school friends, Riley and Jules began to drift apart. Jules started to expand her social circle, becoming more popular and friends with the cool kids. The evidence will show, during this trial, you will hear from Jules Simpson that at the beginning of junior year, she and Riley made the varsity soccer team. However, as Jules started to gain popularity, she began to distance herself from Riley. Specifically, the evidence will show that on March 23, 2018, Jules was invited to a party by Campbell Ramsey, the captain of the soccer team and the most popular kid in school. Jules, wanting to fit in with her new cool clique, went to the party and dragged Riley along. After the party, Campbell Ramsey invited the new varsity players to continue the tradition of visiting Wally the Gator, the rival school's mascot. Jules and her new clique asked Riley to take pictures of them on the mascot. Although we as the defense have absolutely no burden of proof in this case, you will hear from Riley. Riley will tell you that after he took those pictures, he felt uncomfortable and he left. Fast forward to a year later. Jules was the SGA president, captain of the soccer team, and the most popular girl in school. Riley continued to write songs inspired by the Beatles and his father, and post them on MySpace to gain followers. Along with his songs, Riley did a mass upload of old pictures, including the ones he had taken of Jules with the mascot. However, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, these postings alone are not a crime. The Honorable Judge Haynes will instruct you that the burden of proof in this case rests entirely on this table. We are confident that the state will not be able to meet their burden. Fortunately, aside from giving us the right to free speech, our founding fathers gave us the right to be tried by a fair jury of our peers. We may not agree with what Riley Butler had to say, but I'll vigorously defend his right to say it. We are confident that at the conclusion of this case, the jury will uphold Riley's rights and come up with the only fair verdict of this case. A verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
All right, City, call your first witness.
The state calls Jules Simpson. Good morning, Miss Simpson. Please introduce yourself to the jury.
Good morning. My name is Jules Simpson.
How old are you?
I'm 17.
Where do you live?
I live in Park City, Florida.
What school do you go to?
Park City High School.
How do you know Riley Butler?
Riley Butler met on the first day of high school, and we became friends instantly.
Do you see Riley in this courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you point to him and mention an article of clothing that he's wearing?
He's sitting right there. He's wearing the teal shirt.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has positively identified the defendant, Riley Butler.
The record will so reflect.
Have you ever witnessed Riley being aggressive?
Yes, I have.
How so?
Well, my friend from the soccer team, Campbell Ramsey, one day made a stupid joke to him about his mom. He got really defensive and beat up Campbell, punched him in the face.
Who is Campbell Ramsey?
Campbell Ramsey, like I stated before, is a friend from the soccer team. We were never really that close until one day she invited me to this huge party she was throwing.
Did you go to that party?
Yes, I did.
What happened?
Well, it got a little too crowded, so Campbell invited me, a few other friends, including Riley Butler, to go visit the rival school.
Did you ask anyone to take a picture of you while you were there?
Yes, I did.
Who did you ask?
Riley Butler.
And why?
I just wanted it for a good memory. It was a fun memory.
Why did you take the picture?
I wanted to remember it.
And did you have any idea that the picture would be posted?
No, and I even called Riley the next day telling him not to post it. I didn't want anyone to think that I would commit the vandalism.
What happened after the picture was posted?
Well, the police came to my school.
Did you face any consequences because of the picture?
Yes, I did.
What consequences?
I got kicked off the soccer team and stripped of my student government position.
Who was able to see the photo?
Well, because Riley made the picture public, anyone could see it. Anyone that looked at my page, Riley's page, just about anyone.
After you and Riley had grown apart, had his behavior changed in any way?
Yes, it did.
How so?
He became more angry. We started to grow apart since I tried to focus more on my clubs and organizations for future college applications. Meanwhile, he became more introverted and started working on his music more.
Did Riley act on his feelings against you?
Yes, he did.
How did these actions make you feel?
I was terrified.
What did he do?
Well, he gave me weird looks every single day, and since he was jealous of my friends, he kept saying mean comments to both me and my friends.
Did you do anything as a result of these feelings you were experiencing?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
I visited my school counselor.
Are you willing to waive your psychotherapist privilege in order to discuss the conversations you had with your therapist?
Yes, I am.
Did you face any long-term distress because of the pictures?
Yes, I did. I faced depression, anxiety, and lots of emotional trauma.
Let me direct your attention to Riley's songwriting. Did his lyrics change in any way after the picture was posted and you guys had grown apart?
Yes, they did.
How did they change?
They went from happy, upbeat jingles to more dark and depressing lyrics.
Your Honor, I'm now showing opposing counsel what's been previously marked as Exhibit C. Permission to approach the witness stand?
Yes.
Ms. Simpson, do you recognize these printouts?
Yes, I do.
What do they show?
They show screenshots of Riley Butler's MySpace page and his songs and lyrics.
Are they in the same or similar condition in which you last saw them?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, I'm now moving into evidence what's been previously marked as Exhibit C.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Exhibit C is in evidence.
Permission to publish to the jury at the conclusion of my examination?
Permission granted.
How do these lyrics make you feel?
Terrified.
Can you point out to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury a specific lyric that terrifies you?
Of course. Feel the... Sorry, these just make me really emotional. Feel the knife cut deep. Feel it burn. Feel it bleed.
Thank you. No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Good morning.
Morning.
You testified on direct examination that you went to Campbell Ramsey's party. Let's talk about that. You said that after the party, you went to Hurricane High School to see Wally the Gator, correct?
Correct.
You were trespassing.
Well, I never really thought of it that way.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You were on Hurricane High School's campus at midnight, uninvited.
Well, I was invited by Campbell, along with a few other friends, including Riley Butler.
Well, you know that at the time, Campbell Ramsey was a high school student and did not have the authority to invite you onto your rival high school's campus.
I guess so.
Let's talk about the day after this party. You found out that Wally the Gator was vandalized, correct?
Correct.
And when you found out about the investigation, you asked Riley Butler not to post the photos he took of you, correct?
Correct. I didn't want anyone to see them and think that I committed the vandalism.
You knew that if those photos were released, you would be punished, correct?
Correct. I knew that I would be considered a suspect.
Well, that makes sense. You wouldn't want anyone to know that you were on Hurricane High School's campus by Wally Gator at the time he was vandalized. I'd like to draw your attention to Riley Butler's MyFace account. You encouraged him to create that MyFace account, correct?
Yes, quite a while ago.
And you also know why Riley Butler likes the Beatles so much, correct?
Correct.
You know that the Beatles help him connect to his father, right?
Correct.
And you also know that Riley Butler bases all of his songs off the Beatles, correct?
Well, no. I'm sure that most of his songs are based off the Beatles, but these songs involved in this case are certainly threatening me.
You also mentioned on direct examination that you were struggling from some emotional issues. Let's talk about those. You said that these emotional issues started when the photos were posted and the lyrics were posted, correct?
Correct.
But in reality, didn't these emotional issues start when you were pulled out of class and investigated for vandalizing Wally Gator?
Correct. I was extremely embarrassed.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may have a seat. All right, State, call your next witness.
The state calls Campbell Ramsey. Good morning. Please state your name to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Good morning, I'm Campbell Ramsey.
How old are you, Campbell?
I'm 19 years old.
And where did you go to school for high school?
I used to go to Park City High School,
Where do you go now?
Southeast Florida University, on a soccer scholarship.
Do you know Jules Simpson?
Yes, I do.
How do you know Jules?
She joined the soccer team that I was the captain of course, in her sophomore year.
Who else was on this soccer team?
Oh, Riley Butler.
How do you know, or have you ever had any problems with Riley Butler?
Yes, I have. He's always been that weird kid, the one that never fits in. One time, I tried to make a joke with him, and he punched me in the face, giving me a black eye and a bloody nose. Like, he's a lunatic.
I would now like to bring your attention to March 23rd. What happened that day?
Well, it's always been a tradition that the soccer team captains host a party to introduce all the new members of the soccer team. So I did.
Who went to this party?
All the members of the soccer team.
What happened after this party?
Well, the party got a lot bigger than I expected. People were drinking and smoking. It really wasn't my scene. So I decided to take some of the new members of the soccer team and go show them our rival school's mascot, Wally the Gator.
What happened there?
We posed, took a couple of photos, and then me and some older members left the newbies alone for 15 minutes. When we got back, Jules was the only one left. I took her home.
In the following days after this party, what exactly happened?
Well, some idiots decided to vandalize Wally the Gator. Everyone on the soccer team got interviewed, but no one would be that stupid to do that.
So, did you see Riley this day?
Oh, yes, I did.
What happened with Riley that day?
Well, he bumped into me in the hallway and told me that I should watch my back, boss.
Objection, hearsay.
Your Honor,
What?
Your Honor, this is not hearsay since it is admission by the party opponent since Riley Butler is the party opponent.
Any reply?
No, Your Honor.
All right, objections overruled.
Did you have any problems with Riley that day?
Yes, I have. He bumped into me and told me that I should watch my back, boss, which is my nickname. I felt really threatened by this comment.
Why'd you feel threatened?
Well, Riley's always this weird, depressed kid, and when he started threatening me, I felt like something terrible was going to happen.
I would now like to move into evidence what has been previously marked as Exhibit B. I'm now showing opposing counsel what has been previously marked as Exhibit B. Permission to approach the witness?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you recognize these?
Yes, I do.
What are they?
They are the photos that we took next to Wally the Gator the night he was vandalized.
Are these a true and accurate copy of the photos next to Wally the Gator?
Yes, they are.
I would now like to move into evidence what has been previously marked as Exhibit B.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Exhibit B is in evidence.
Permission to publish at the end of my direct examination.
Permission granted.
What are these photos of?
They are the photos that we took next to Wally the Gator.
Whose MyFace page were these photos of?
Riley Butler's.
Was there anything else on these MyFace page?
Yes, there was multiple song lyrics.
What were these lyrics of?
Well, most of them were threatening Jules, but one song, called But I Won't, I felt was threatening me. One of the lyrics says, "Hey boss, watch your back, click click boom." Like, what is that supposed to mean? I feel really threatened, and I feel like a protective order wouldn't be a bad idea.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Good morning, Miss Ramsey.
Good morning.
I believe you refer to yourself as the boss on direct examination. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
And you call yourself that because when you speak, people listen. Is
Of
that true?
course.
And when you tell people what to do, they do it, right?
True.
And that will include Jules Simpson, wouldn't it?
I guess so.
And being that you were the most popular kid in your school, a lot of people wanted to be your friend, right?
Well, yes, everyone did, but I really can't control that.
And that will include Jules Simpson, wouldn't it?
Well, yes, she is part of everyone, is she not?
And I believe you referred to Riley as a lunatic and an idiot on direct. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
So it's safe to say that you don't like him very much, do you?
No, I do not.
And you'd consider Jules one of your good friends, right?
Yes, I do.
So you wouldn't want to see her get in trouble, right?
Not really, no.
Okay. Now I'd like to talk about the night of your party. I believe that you testified that you left the newbies and Riley alone with the mascot for what, 15 minutes? Is that true?
Yes, it is.
And when you got back, Jules was the only one there.
Yes.
So you cannot testify and tell these ladies and gentlemen of the jury that that Jules Simpson did not commit the vandalism.
I guess not.
No further questions.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, can I have a seat? All right, today call your next witness.
The state calls Dr. Charlie Kimball. Hello, Dr. Kimball. Please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Hello, my name is Dr. Charlie Kimball.
What field do you work in and where do you work, Dr. Kimball?
I am a school psychologist with Park City High School.
How long have you been in that field?
I've been in the field for 27 years now.
And where did you receive your education?
I received my graduate degree from Sunville University and a BA in psychology from the University of Sunville, graduating top of my class.
And do you specialize or have interest in a specific area of school psychology?
I specialize in children's psychology, focusing in teenage psychology. I've read the latest magazines and attended many conferences.
Have you testified at a trial as an expert witness for school psychology before?
Yes, 10 times now.
Your Honor, pursuant to stipulation number 7, the school guidance counselor, Dr. Charlie Kimball, is a qualified expert witness in the area of school psychology.
All right, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
So, I'd like to direct your attention to a person by the name of Jules Simpson. Do you know Jules?
Yes, I've had the pleasure of meeting her.
How did you meet Miss Simpson?
Well, I first met her when she was elected student government president.
And what is your relationship with the student government?
I've had the honor of becoming the student government sponsor.
And what kind of a student was Miss Simpson?
Oh, she was almost perfect in every way. She had an upbeat personality, very proactive, and hardworking.
Was there ever a time when your relationship changed?
Yes, unfortunately so.
Why did it change?
It changed when she sought out my counseling services in the second semester of her senior year.
How come she sought out your services?
She sought out these services because she was feeling sad and depressed because of these recent images that have been posted on a MyFace page.
Can you tell us a little more about that, Dr. Kimball?
As the school's guidance counselor and the SGA president, I have been made aware of a situation involving the vandalization of Wally the Gator.
So, what did you discuss with Miss Simpson during your sessions?
Objection, hearsay.
Your Honor, may I respond?
Yes.
Your Honor, this is not hearsay because it is not offered for the truth of the matter asserted, but rather for the effect on the listener. Additionally, Your Honor, pursuant to Florida Rule of Evidence 90.704, experts are allowed to rely on inadmissible hearsay if it is the type reasonably relied upon by experts in the subject to support the opinion expressed.
Any reply?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that objection is overruled.
I'll repeat the question. What did you discuss in your sessions with Miss Simpson?
Well, we discussed how she was feeling sad and depressed because she was being pulled out of her classes by police officers and the school resource officer because of these images, she became a suspect of the vandalism.
Did she share with you anything else during your sessions?
Yes, she also shared with me another reason for her sadness and anxiety. It was some lyrics that were posted on the same MyFace page.
So, Dr. Kimball, do you have any personal knowledge as to who posted these photos and wrote those lyrics?
Yes, it was a student by the name of Riley Butler.
Did Miss Simpson share with you anything else about her emotional distress during your sessions?
Yes, she also felt that these lyrics and images were posted with the intent to harass and bully her.
So you mentioned earlier that Riley Butler had posted these photos and wrote those lyrics. So have you ever met with him personally?
Yes, I felt this to be necessary.
And what did you discuss when you met with him?
Well, when I met with him, we started to discuss the lyrics, and he immediately became very defensive. He said that I had no idea what I was talking about, and even went so far as to say I had no idea what good music was.
So after considering everything you have seen or heard, your knowledge and your expertise, what opinion have you reached in this case?
I have reached the opinion that Jules' change in personality, depression, and anxiety are a direct result of Riley Butler's actions. I have also determined that Jules still lives under constant fear that she will be physically hurt by Riley Butler.
Thank you, Doctor. No further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You testified during direct examination that you're the sponsor of the Student Government Association at Park City High School, correct?
Correct?
And during that time, Jules Simpson was your student body president, right?
Yes, she was.
She was a very hardworking, proactive, and you testified that she was almost perfect in every way, correct?
Yes, I did.
And when she was removed from this position, you lost a hardworking, proactive, and almost perfect president, right?
Yes, we did.
So you would want her to be put back in this position, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would. Who wouldn't want a great and hardworking president?
Now, would you agree with me that she's a people pleaser?
Yes, I would.
She cares greatly of what others think of her, doesn't she?
Yes, but... Yes.
And you had a pretty personal relationship with Jules, didn't you?
Well, I wouldn't call a relationship personal. I met with her on a weekly basis, but never outside of school.
So you met with her at least once a week?
Yes, I did.
So, in fact, despite the fact that you had a rather close relationship with Jules Simpson, you still chose to provide her with counseling services, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Now, during these sessions, she told you that she was upset, humiliated, and depressed because she had been pulled out of class due to the ongoing investigation of the vandalism of Wally Gator. Yes?
Yes, she did.
She didn't want to get in trouble for vandalizing Wally Gator, huh?
Yes, who would want to get charged with the crime they didn't commit?
She didn't want to face the consequences of being charged with Wally the Gator. Yes?
Yes.
She was raised as a suspect of this crime by the police. Yes?
Yes.
She was pulled out for questioning, and this caused her to be humiliated and depressed, right?
Yes.
This raised suspicion by the police caused her to lose her position on the soccer team and her position on the SGA. Yes?
Yes, very unfairly.
Now, you met with Riley, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you asked him if he had pointed his lyrics towards anyone in specific, and he said no.
Yes.
And then he told you that all it was time for the truth to finally get out. Yes?
Yes, and this makes me think that...
Sir, I didn't ask you what you think. I asked you if Riley said that it was time for the truth to get out. Yes or no?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Can I have a seat? Any additional witnesses for the state?
No, Your Honor.
State rest?
Yes, the state rest.
All right, we can go to defense case. Defense, call your first witness.
Your Honor, the defense calls Riley Butler. Good morning.
Morning.
Please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
My name is Riley Butler.
Mr. Butler, where do you live?
Sunshine, Florida.
And how long have you lived there for?
Beginning of high school.
And who do you live there with?
My mother. My father passed away when I was young.
I'm very sorry to hear that. Do you have any hobbies?
Yes.
What is your hobby?
I like to produce, make anything involving music, and I also love to play soccer.
Why are you so interested in music?
My father was also really interested in music, so I kind of drifted towards the subject.
Do you have any favorite band?
Yes.
What's your favorite band?
The Beatles.
And why do you like the Beatles so much?
Helps me
Objection. Relevance.
Response?
Your Honor, this is relevant because it is behind our theory of defense. That being that Riley Butler uses music as a form of therapy and expression and not to cause substantial emotional distress to Jules Simpson.
Any reply?
No, Your Honor.
All right, your objection is overruled.
Why do you like the Beatles so much?
Helps me connect with my father.
Do you know Jules Simpson?
Yes.
How do you know her?
She was my best friend in the beginning of high school.
Would you tell me about your MyFace account?
Yes. I post all my music on my MyFace account. Actually, Jules helped me set it up.
Do you base any of your music off anything?
Yes, the Beatles.
Have you ever written your songs about anyone in particular?
No.
Do you know Campbell Ramsey?
Yes.
Did you attend Campbell's party on March 23rd, 2018?
Yes.
What happened after this party?
A group of people, including Jules and Campbell Ramsey, went to the Hurricane High School.
And what did you do there?
Jules told me to take a couple pictures of her next to Wally Gator. After a little bit, I decided this is not a good situation to be in and left.
What happened the next day?
Someone vandalized Wally the Gator. Police came to our school and interviewed the soccer team.
And what happened after this?
Jules was really, sad was really scared after being interviewed from the police.
How was your relationship with Jules after this?
It changed a lot. We started drifting apart. She started doing different things. I started working on my music more.
Your Honor, permission to approach? Your Honor, I'm now showing opposing counsel what's been previously moved into evidence as Exhibit B. Permission to approach the witness?
Yes, you may.
What is this?
The photos I posted on my MyFace page.
Why did you post these photos?
It was so by Thursday. I mass uploaded a lot of photos to my MyFace page.
Did you post these photos to cause substantial emotional distress to Jules Simpson?
Of course not.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
So you testified on direct examination that you accidentally posted 2 photos of Jules with Wally Gator in your mass upload. But isn't it true that these photos were posted on the exact same day that you and Jules had a heated argument over the phone?
Yeah, it was a coincidence. It was Throwback Thursday.
There was an investigation after the night of the vandalism, correct?
Yes.
And Jules told you specifically not to post those photos, correct?
Yeah, I think I remember her saying something like that.
Okay, Mr. Butler, now let's move to your music. You testified that you use your music as a way to express yourself, correct?
Yes.
And generally, your music started out happy, correct?
Yes.
But it changed later, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And these dark lyrics appeared mostly after you and Jules' friendship fell apart, correct?
Yeah, I was in a really dark place.
Okay, Mr. Butler, you know the origin of the name Jude in the song Hey Jude, correct?
Yes.
And yet you still wrote the threatening song Oh Jude despite knowing that the original Hey Jude was also written for someone named Jules?
It was not directed towards Jules, it was just part of the song.
And yet you still claim that you don't write your songs about anybody in particular?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may have a seat. All right, counsel, call your next witness.
The defense calls Dr. Dakota Reese. Good morning. Can you please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Hello, my name is Dr. Dakota Reese.
And what do you do for a living?
I'm currently a clinical psychologist,
Where do you practice?
Burlington University.
At what capacity?
I head the department as well as teach the subject among the students.
How long have you been in this field of expertise?
I've been in the field for over 25 years.
Can you please explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about your background in education?
I have my undergraduate and medical degree from Burlington University.
Have you ever published in any professional journals or written any textbooks within the field of psychology?
I've written numerous journals and co-wrote the textbook used at the department as well as the nation.
Have you specifically specialized in any certain field within psychology?
I specialize in how the internet and social media impacts teenagers.
Have you previously testified as an expert witness in a case before?
I testified as an expert witness in over 50 court cases.
Okay. Now, let's move your attention to an individual by the name of Riley Butler. Do you know him?
Yes.
How do you know him?
I was contacted by the defense counsel to determine if I could give an opinion on whether Riley Butler intended to cause Jules Simpson emotional distress.
And did you reach an opinion?
Yes.
What was this opinion?
I believe Riley Butler did not intend to cause Jules Simpson severe emotional distress.
And as you mentioned earlier, you were hired by the defense counsel. How much are you being paid for your work here today?
Well, I agreed to do the case pro bono.
So you're not being paid at all for your work here today, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, let's go back. So you met with Riley Butler, and what did you discuss during these meetings?
Well, we discussed several topics, one being his love for music.
Why was this important for you to know?
It was important for me to understand why Riley loved music because it was very therapeutic for him and helped him get through some dark times.
Did you ask him anything else about his music?
I asked him if he had written all of his own songs.
What did he say?
He said he had.
Did you ask him if he had intended his lyrics towards anyone in specific?
Yes, and he said no, and he said he had never written to anyone who had angered him or had loved him, or he loved him.
Did this end your evaluation?
No.
Did you meet with Riley any more times?
Yes, in those meetings we discussed his friendship with Jules.
How did he react to that?
Well, he and Jules were best friends since the first day of high school, but they began to drift apart beginning junior year.
So, how did he feel about losing Jules as a friend?
He was very depressed because Jules was his only friend.
And did he give you a reason as to why he would post these lyrics on his MySpace page?
He only posted them for the purpose to spread his music because he loved it so much.
And did he give you any other reason why he would post these lyrics?
No.
Now, did he mention anything else about his friendship with Jules? Did he say that he directed these lyrics or posted these images on purpose?
No.
So, besides meeting with him, did you analyze these lyrics on your own?
Yes. On my own review, I saw that the lyrics do not establish a credible threat or reference a specific person of any kind.
So, due to your expertise, training, and meetings with Riley, what opinion did you reach in this case?
The kids had a falling out, something typical at their age. And although the lyrics might come off alarming at first, they do not reference a person, anyone, or establish a credible threat. And music is just a way for Riley to express himself.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
You testified on direct examination that your opinion is based on numerous meetings with Riley Butler. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
You believe that Riley did not have the mindset of attacking Jules, right?
I believe she didn't.
So let's talk about that. You also testified on direct examination that you've never seen Riley being aggressive, right?
Yes.
But doctor, isn't it true that Riley Butler punched Campbell Ramsey in the face?
Well, yes, but that was an isolated event in which Campbell Ramsey made a direct threat towards Riley's mother.
I understand what you're saying, doctor, but bring me back to my question. Punching someone in the face is an act of aggression, yes or no?
Yes.
All right, doctor, wouldn't you agree that when forming an expert opinion, you need to look at all the evidence available in order to form that opinion?
Of course.
But didn't you only look at Riley's song lyrics?
Well, yes, but that is one aspect of what Jules said was threatening.
On direct examination, you testified that Riley's song lyrics were questionable and alarming, didn't you?
Yes.
They were even more alarming because of Riley Butler's age, right?
Yes.
You saw many dark themes recurring in these lyrics, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And all these lyrics were posted after Riley and Jules had grown apart, right?
Yes.
You talked to Riley about Jules, right?
Yes.
You talked to him about their former friendship, correct?
Yes.
And every time you mentioned Jules, Riley seemed to become angry, right?
I wouldn't say angry, more upset.
You just recently started learning about teens and social media, right?
Well, yes, but that is because this is a new field.
You expect to grow in this area, correct?
Of course.
By testifying in this case regarding this area, you can become well known in this field of psychology, right?
Objection, relevance?
Your Honor, may I respond?
Yes, you may.
This goes to the witness's potential bias. A witness's potential bias is always relevant and important for the jury to consider when determining the credibility of a witness.
Any reply?
No, Your Honor.
Objections overruled.
This would be helpful for you to expand business and gain clients in the future, right?
Well, not only does it expand my business, it also helps my students and clients.
You relied heavily on Riley's statements in reaching your conclusions, isn't that correct?
Yes.
Did you administer a test to see if Riley was lying or not?
No.
You and Riley met after he had been charged with a crime, right?
Yes.
All of your meetings were for the purpose of his defense, correct?
Yes.
You didn't get involved in this case until after the defense contacted you, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I asked you that again. Alright, so, doctor, you asked Riley on direct examination if he had ever written a song about somebody who angered him, and Riley denied that, correct?
Yes.
And yet, you accepted this answer at face value even though you didn't administer a test to see if he was lying or not?
Yes.
Thank you, no further questions.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
You may have a seat. All right, Spence, call your next witness.
The defense calls Jackie Thompson. Mr. Thompson, where are you employed?
I'm employed at Park City High School.
And what do you do there exactly?
I am a high school music teacher.
Why did you choose to teach music specifically?
Well, throughout my years of teaching, I've seen a lot of stressed out kids, and I believe that music can be used as a therapeutic tool to help students forget their stress. I try to provide a safe space for my students, and I believe music helps me do that.
Do you know Riley Butler?
Yes.
How do you know him?
He joined my class halfway through his freshman year of high school, and I knew immediately that he would be an excellent asset to our music program.
What kind of student was Riley?
He's an excellent student who wrote all of his own music, by musicians that he liked, mainly the Beatles.
Did Riley ever tell you why he liked the Beatles so much?
Well, you see, his father passed away when he was younger, and he told me that writing with the Beatles helped him feel more connected to his father.
All right. Now I'd like to talk about Jules Simpson. Do you know Jules?
Not personally, but I do know that Jules helped Riley set up a MyFace page to help him publish his music.
So you're familiar with MyFace?
Yes.
Do you like it?
Well, I have heard and read a lot of bad things about MyFace, and I encourage my students to be more careful about what they post.
Did you ever see Riley outside of class?
Well, based on Riley's love of music and how serious he was about it, I decided to give him free music lessons after school.
Why were they free?
Well, you see, his family doesn't have a lot of money, and his music was so good, and he was so serious about music that I wanted to help jumpstart his career.
How long did you work with Riley?
Almost 4 years now.
Can you describe for me his music over the years?
Well, it has varied over the years. It was mainly upbeat and happy
was sometimes it got sad when he wrote, mainly when he wrote about his father.
Did you ever talk to Riley about his music?
Yes, when his music got sad, I would talk to him about it, because I knew that when his music got sad, he was just trying to get in touch with his emotions.
So music was therapy for him.
Yes.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
Good morning, Mr. Thompson.
Good morning.
In direct examination, you testify that Jules and Riley had a good friendship, correct?
Correct.
So let's talk about this friendship. You thought Jules was a positive influence on Riley, didn't you?
Yes.
And you thought he was such a positive influence, you'd be able to get Riley into applying to music programs in college, correct?
Yes, I did know that Jules took an interest in Riley's music.
Until one day, Riley expressed to you that he was losing his best friend, correct?
Correct.
He was devastated by this, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
He had told you that Jules had stopped talking to him, didn't he?
Yes.
And he was upset about this, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
So, and his music started changing at this time, didn't it, Mr. Thompson?
Yes, it did.
It got darker, didn't it?
Yes.
And you were so concerned about his music. You asked him about it, didn't you?
Yes, and he told me that he was just trying to get in touch with his emotions through music.
Even if his music caused fear in other people, like the songs he wrote towards Jules?
Well, that wasn't his intent. He was just using music as a therapeutic tool to help him get in touch with his emotions.
I understand what you're saying, Mr. Thompson, but can we agree that at the same time that Riley Butler had expressed to you he was losing his best friend, his music got darker and more angry and so concerning that you had never seen this from him before, correct?
Correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may have a seat. Any additional witnesses for the defense?
The defense rests, Your Honor.
Both sides have now rested their case. We're going to go into closing arguments. Closing arguments on behalf of the state.
Words can heal and words can hurt. Pictures can bring back memories or nightmares. Riley Butler and Jules Simpson were the best of friends until their senior year when they grew apart. Jules became student council president and head of the soccer team, while Riley fell deeper and deeper into depression and resentment. Because Riley knew Jules so well, he knew exactly how to hurt her the most. Using my face as a weapon, Riley Butler posted pictures designed to harass Jules and song lyrics containing credible threats to do harm to Jules. Because of this course of conduct, Riley Butler is guilty of cyberstalking and photo-cyber harassment. Let's talk about how the evidence shows that Riley is guilty of cyberstalking. First, the defendant published an image of Jules Simpson in retaliation. How do we know this? Because these pictures Riley posted the same night that he and Jules had gone into an argument, knowing that it would reopen the investigation. Next, the song lyrics that Riley wrote are clearly a direct threat to Jules. Nobody knew more about the Beatles than Riley Butler. Why is this important? Because Riley knew that Hey Jude was written for John Lennon's son, Jules. Riley's songs contain threats such as, "Oh Jude, you will pay," "You are the worst person I know," and "Feel the knife cut deep, feel it burn, feel it bleed." Ladies and gentlemen, there is no other reasonable way to interpret these words beyond a reasonable doubt. These two events show that the defendant willfully, maliciously, and repeatedly cyberstalked Jules. Now, let's talk about how the evidence shows that Riley is guilty of photo-cyber harassment. First of all, the defendant published pictures of Jules Simpson with the mascot for no legitimate purpose and with the intent of causing emotional distress to her. Next, Jules did not consent to the images being published. Lastly, Jules had a reasonable expectation that these images would remain private. She specifically said to Riley that these pictures they took were just for a private joke and never to be seen by the public. These pictures brought nightmares to Jules. She was humiliated and faced substantial emotional distress. How do we know this? Because, ladies and gentlemen, we heard from Dr. Kimball, an expert in teenage psychology, who personally witnessed Jules having a severe change in demeanor. She went from being positive and energetic to fearful and anxious. Ladies and gentlemen, we know what happened as a result of the defendant's actions. Jules was removed from student council president, put on probation for the soccer team. Not only that, But all of her college applications and scholarships were rejected because of the accusations against her. It is difficult for Jules to focus in school because she is constantly afraid of what Riley might do to her. High school is hard, but it's even harder when your best friend turns their back on you. But there is no excuse for using social media as a weapon to cause them emotional distress and to threaten them with violence. There is no excuse to use words to hurt and pictures to scare. But Riley Butler has done just that, and the government has proven that beyond a reasonable doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly why you should find Riley Butler guilty. Thank you.
Closing arguments on behalf of the defense.
Freedom of speech is a principal pillar of a free government. But our freedom of speech means nothing at all if it doesn't give us the right to offend. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today you heard the story of two kids being just that, kids. Riley Butler was just trying to live the life of a normal high school student while coping with the tragic loss of his father at a young age. He exercised his freedom of speech as a way to cope, and that is why we are all here today. In order for Riley Butler to be found guilty of cyberstalking for his lyrics that he posted, the state had to prove two elements. Number one, that Riley willfully, maliciously, and repeatedly cyberstalked Jules Simpson. And number two, Riley Butler made a credible threat to Jules Simpson. In order for Riley Butler to be found guilty of photo cyberstalking for the photos he posted, the state had to prove three elements. Number one, Riley Butler posted compromising photos of Jules Simpson to an internet website for no legitimate purpose other than to cause substantial emotional distress to Jules Simpson. Number two, that Jules Simpson did not consent to the photos being posted. And number three, Jules Simpson had a reasonable expectation that the photos would remain private. Today, you heard from Campbell Ramsey, Jules Simpson, and Riley Butler, who all told you about March 23rd, 2018, the night of Campbell's party. They all told you that they went to Hurricane High School after the party to see their mascot, Wally Gator. Jules willingly posed for a few photos that Riley took before he left the party immediately after. But that night, Jules Simpson and Campbell Ramsey were the last to leave that party. And coincidentally, also that night, Wally Gator was vandalized. The next day, when Jules found out about the investigation, she immediately called Riley Butler and asked him not to post the photos. But ladies and gentlemen, you saw these photos, and not a single one of them showed Jules Simpson vandalizing Wally Gator. She had no reason to be afraid that she would be punished for committing the crime, unless of course she did. Jules Simpson also claimed to be threatened by Riley Butler's song lyrics. But she testified that she knows how much Riley Butler loves music, and that he bases all of his songs off the Beatles. Jules knows why Riley loves the Beatles, because they help him connect with his father. Oh Jude is no exception to Riley Butler's songs based off the Beatles. Oh Jude is based off the song Hey Jude, a Beatles song. Just like all of Riley's other songs, Oh Jude is based off the Beatles. Judge Hames will instruct you that the state carries the burden of proof in this case. They had to prove all elements of all counts beyond and to the exclusion of every reasonable doubt. The state was unable to meet that burden. As to count one, the state failed to prove that Riley Butler willfully, maliciously, and repeatedly cyberstalked Jules Simpson, and that he made a credible threat to Jules Simpson. As to count two, the state failed to show that Riley Butler posted compromising photos of Jules Simpson for the internet on an internet website for no legitimate purpose other than to cause substantial emotional distress to Jules Simpson. The evidence today has shown that Riley Butler is not guilty. We ask that you follow the law and find the only just verdict in this case. Find Riley Butler not guilty. Thank you.
Any rebuttal?
No, Your Honor.